I'm going to read Curious George Walks the Pets for you today. George was looking out the window. A neighbor, Mr. Nelson, was walking his dog, Andy. George was curious. What would it be like to walk a pet? Once Mr. Nelson and his dog were back home, George went over to their house and rang the doorbell. Dong. Mr. Nelson didn't answer it, but the door was open, so George went in. Uh-oh. Inside, George discovered Mr. Nelson's other pets. Besides Andy, he had a cat, a canary in a cage, and a goldfish in a bowl. Glop, glop, glop. Could George take all of them for a walk? He tried to put a leash on the cat, but she ran away. Next, George opened the bird cage, but the bird flew away. The cat jumped after the bird flew around in circles. Andy chased the cat and the goldfish splashed in his bowl. What excitement! Mr. Nelson calmed down his pets and put the bird back in its cage. After Mr. Nelson left the room, George came back. He was sure that the pets would all like to go for a walk. George had an idea. He ran back home and got his little red wagon. He pulled it over to Mr. Nelson's house. He put the bird cage and goldfish in the wagon. Then George hooked the leash to Andy's collar and tied the other end to the wagon. Andy could help pull him. Finally, they were ready, and off they went. Now George was walking all the pets down the street. Andy pulled the wagon and the cat followed behind. Mrs. James's dog ran out and trotted behind the cat. Then Mary O'Brien's cat fell in line too. Soon all the pets in the neighborhood were following George. What a terrific parade! But the neighbors didn't think so. "Stop! Stop!" they shouted angrily. "What are you doing with our pets? Bring them back!" George was scared. What could he do now? "Wait!" called Mrs. James. "Don't be angry. George can be our pet walker." "Gee, that's right," said Mary O'Brien. "George is doing a good job too," said Mr. Nelson. "The pets are really behaving now." "A pet walker will save me a lot of time," said Mr. Klein. Just then, the man with the yellow hat came running over. "Hold still, everybody," he said. "I want to take your picture. Smile." The end.